So, I watched Castaway last night. You know, the one with Tom Hanks. Now, when I say Castaway, what do you think about that movie? I mean, because a lot of times, you're shuffling through all the channels, flipping through, and then you go, "Oh, Castaway." And what's the idea you get in your head? Just a dude in an island, stranded in an island, right? You're like, shit, 3 hours of that. um, it's not about that. You see? I realized what the real message was, man. No, it's check this out. It's I'm, I've I don't know if you'll know the story of Job. I think it's Job. And so the man, a man who was tested by, by Satan, but in see, Job was a devoted man. He was devoted to his creator, to God, right? And then, you know, God was very proud of him and was saying, like this, look at my dude right there. He's good. He's my dude. And the devil said, "Oh yeah, well it's easy because you blessed him so much. You know, of course it's easy to be good when you're that blessed. When you have it so good, test him a little bit." Now again, this is Satan, and Satan again I believe it's the Satan from the Old Testament. I think the translation of Satan or something like that I heard. It means adversary. It means the contrary, the opposite. So like the black and the white and the yin and yang. Are we starting to kind of like put these things together? It's not good or bad. It's one is part of the other. But what I'm saying here is that Satan was the tester. We can go into more detail about that, but let's just move on. Wanted to test Job, his faith. So all these things started to happen, his family, he loses his family, his house, his fortune, everything basically. He ends up with nothing, and still the man's faith did not change. So obviously later on, God rewarded him for being so true. The point I'm trying to make is that you ever hear life is hard? I know algebra is hard. Geometry can be hard. Calculus can be hard. The human brain, if you look at it and you don't know what the hell is going on in there, it looks hard to decipher. Anything looks hard when you don't understand it. So yes, life can be hard if we don't understand it. But if we make it a point to understand why it's so hard, or why it's so hard. What I have found is that what's hard is us not understanding the plan. And if understanding, resisting the plan. Not changing what you need to change. Not stopping what you need to stop. And so on and so forth. There's no growth. There's no direction to go. And everything is movement in life. You must be moving somewhere. And if things around you are disallowing that movement, it's not natural. It's stagnant. It's unnatural to be stagnant like that. And I'm not saying you're doing it. Whatever it is happening in life that makes you feel stuck or stagnant, or that you're not blessed by the divine, or that you're being forgotten. Maybe it's because we're not understanding that we are being given messages. We just can't read the language. And Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the language of symbols, of signs, omens, whatever you want to call it. They're all around us. I think the reason why a civilization, older civilizations, left symbols for us to read, because symbols can say more than just simple words. I mean, what do you think when you see a bird? You see flight. You see, soaring. You see, somebody that comes up higher than the rest. That's why they use the symbol of a hawk, for what's his name? The sun god, Ra. So these symbols are to represent certain qualities in the person. In the past, I mentioned the feathers on Isis, the adornments. It's like this dress that she wears, and it looks like, vultures' wings. And again, that is not because the picture that you get from a vulture is a disgusting bird that eats decaying bodies, right? But the reality is that yes, it is eating death, but out of that death, nourishment comes out. After it goes through the bird, and the bird, eliminates, what happens? It feeds the earth. Can you hear the Lion King song, The Circle of Life? That's why these are qualities. They're not to be taken literally, but they are, you like, for instance, if you want to represent some strength, you say strong as an oak, or strong as a bull, and you see the bull, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. So if I want to say this guy is so strong, how strong is he? Boom, you put the picture of the bull. Oh, and you get an idea, right? They don't have to waste their time in telling you how strong the person is. There's a picture. So in essence, all of the symbols that we've been seeing, signs, pictures, things that we don't understand, they mean something, and in due time, when you're ready, you will understand them. But anyway, going back to the Castaway movie, again, first, right off the bat, I start watching it, right? I'm like, I just felt at that moment like first of all, I'm like, I've been running into this movie all this time, let's just watch it. It's long, but it's Tom Hanks. Come on, it's a good performance. I mean, the only reason he's the only man who can do a movie by himself, right? I mean, we've seen it. He can do it by himself because he's so entertaining. He's so relatable. Anyhow, right off the bat, in the beginning of the movie, FedEx guy shows up to pick up a package, right? And this is if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Here it goes. At the end of the movie, we revisit this same spot. But in the beginning, you have to pay attention. See, Tom Hanks' character is an Elvis man. He loves Elvis. Throughout the whole movie, you can hear that he's listening to Elvis. He talks about Elvis. In the beginning of the movie, when the FedEx guy shows up to pick up the package, that is pretty much going to be in the movie the whole damn time. And is the reason Tom's character goes back. Not the reason, but he is one of the things that he saves until he gets back. For some reason, he can't get rid of this package. He opens the other packages. He uses them, because there were things that, including, Wilson. It was one of the packages, right? But he never opened this one package. He went and grabbed it, and he was about to open it, and he thought, oh, wait, no. Just decided to save it. Throughout the whole ordeal about getting out of the island, he had this package. And he just had to return it. And he wrote a note on it. And he said, this package saved my life. You know, here it is. You might need it or something, whatever. But the point is that when the FedEx guy in the beginning of the movie shows up to pick up the package, in the background, the lady, the love interest, is listening to Elvis. Right off the bat, when I hear that in the beginning of the movie, I go, boom. This is not a movie about a guy stranded in an island. This is a movie about a guy who is being moved towards the love of his life. But you say, but Pancho, he had his love, and then he, because he was stranded in an island, he couldn't marry the love of his life. No. That wasn't it. Again, in the beginning, we confirm it. The life that Tom's character had in the beginning of the movie was horrible. He was under the clock all the time. He just running. He barely had any time to spend with the girl that he thought he loved, or that he thought he was going to end up with. There was so much commitment built in there. There was just so much stress. It just, really? You want to marry and then continue this madness? Like there was no end to it. Because it wasn't meant to be. It was not supposed to be that way. At one point, a tower moment happens. And this tower moment, and if you are familiar with the tarot, the card of the tower is there. And if you, again, symbols, go look at this card right now. Google tower card and the tarot, Tarot, and you will see the picture. And you see a tower being destroyed by a bolt of lightning. Okay, this bolt of lightning is literally God's power saying, nope, pow, has to be destroyed. You got to rebuild it. Like, there was divine intervention into this man's life. And that's what I mean about reading the signs and knowing the signs. That if you don't know the signs, that you just think life sucks. And as I say, God only gives those challenges to those who got things, can handle them. That's another thing, It's these things that are happening, and because we don't understand, we resist. So that's when the suffering begins. That's when the hard part of it begins, because since we don't understand, we don't know that we're being guided to where we need to be. We always sit around, maybe we lay around every night praying, hoping for that change, for that better tomorrow. And the next morning we get up looking for this specific tomorrow that I said I want it this way. But from point A to point B, you have to travel. There has to be a transition. It can't just pop in the middle of your consciousness. It's as if you wish for an elephant and instantaneously there's an elephant next to you. That you imagine the kind of havoc that would cause. It's a period of fermenting. It's a period of developing. It's a period of forming. It's a period of transition. It's a period of we're changing, and in change we're gonna hurt a little bit, because we're literally shedding skins. We're literally transforming. We literally have to, like the tower, be completely destroyed like Job, so we can rebuild ourselves the right way. Because if you think about it, who built you? My mom and dad. Yeah. And the people around us. Now they're all grown up. and you look at the picture people that raised you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you gotta learn how to read the signs, my brother. It's transitions. Is it's evolving. Is growing. Is what was good enough for the caterpillar can no longer be good enough for the butterfly. And before the worm becomes a butterfly, before it can stop crawling in its stomach on the ground and learns how to soar, I mean, that takes some time, takes a process, takes a shedding, a breaking down. It's gonna hurt, basically. That's what I'm saying. So for all of you who sign up for all these, these guys are, you have to be, you have to tackle life. You're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong. You gotta be the alpha. You're doing it all wrong. Because you're gonna end up exhausted. You're only expressing one aspect of your person, of who you are. There's a hell of a lot more missing there. You can try. You'll never get there. You'll only end up exhausted. The guys who did it, they are exhausted. They can barely hold it together. But they're trying to sell it to you as if the only system that works. And it's been more than 2,000 years, and this kind of aggressive behavior does not cut it. Hasn't. It's losing its strength because in the beginning was weak from the start. We're talking about basic needs that need to be fulfilled, and this is, it's just that's old. And again, we did that back then because we didn't understand the signs. So as hard as we saw it, we decided we gotta get, what do they say, when the tough gets tough, the tough get tougher. Something like that. Well, I say that when things get tough, dissolve. Dissolve and watch. Because this thing that wants you to achieve, that's something else. You don't see a squirrel, you don't see anything natural wanting to do that. It's just us. It's just this thing of always wanting to get something else. The value comes from within, and that is because it's been sitting there the whole time. But because it's so quiet, we think it's out here. So that same insight is what's going to tell you what these signs mean, or push you to educate yourself in understanding what this means, because you know that it would be a lot easier if you know this language. So big tower moment happens over and over, and in fact in the movie you have the Tom Hanks character saying, I had no control. There was nothing I had control over. For somebody who was always on the clock, always trying to keep things together, tight, right? God said, no, you can't live that way. Besides, that's not your life. That's what you thought was supposed to be your life. That's what you thought you were supposed to do. Just as a little side note, everybody knows who The Rock is. Dwayne Johnson, right? And he tells his story about the $7 he was left with, after he didn't get his dream of being an NFL star. Right, that's all he had left when they sent him back in the. He walked out of the bus with $7 in his pocket, and that's the name of his production company, which he's very successful today because of understanding that the best thing you wanted to happen, it's actually the best thing that never happened, because there was something else better for you. You weren't meant to be there. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it sucks that you couldn't have that. But again, was that really for you? If you sit there and you look, you'll see that you can't beg, you can't force, you can't hold. You have to just let go. Again, when we do the opposite and hold on and you got to make it work, and we're like that bee just crashing into the same window pane and not noticing that if I just relax a little bit, back up, get a bigger picture of the situation. Oh wait, there's a door right there, it's open. But we have to relax our attention and say, okay, all right, you keep sending me signs. Okay, teach me. Where is it? Show me what they mean. And I promise you, once you find yourself at such a point where it's just like, I need answers, you'll get the answers. Because you're asking the right questions. Many people just go, oh, I wish I had the job of my dreams. What's the job of your dreams? And they go, the one that pays me really well. Or if they're looking for a job or for something, for an occupation to put their mind and energy into, they always look at how much it pays. First, you got to look if you have a vocation for it. If you feel a need to give of your talents to be in this field, like a doctor. A doctor is not just someone who wants to be rich and live at the links and have a great house with a hot wife or cars and all of that stuff. Be very well paid. A lot of people just get into the field because of that. Oh, I just gotta tough it up for a few years, but then all the money will be rolling in. Well, if you're not following your purpose, that's gonna get really, really tough. No matter how much money you're making, it's just not gonna be sufficient. You won't be happy. Speaking from experience, I would love to be a doctor. I like taking care of people, but there's certain things that I just don't think I just don't see myself doing. So I'm not. It's because I think that if I'm going to a place that I really don't want to be in because I have no inclination towards it, because I really don't want to practice any of that, regardless how much it's paying you, you're not going to be happy while you're there. You're going to be hating it. Oh, well, life is hard and all of that. Again, who put that in your head? The people who raised you. And great, maybe you had great parents and everything, but they weren't just the only ones putting information in that noggin of yours. See, in your noggin, you have stored all this information that you've heard throughout your life, including the commercials you hear on TV. You can come up with a jingle right now that you've heard in the past. Why? Because it's been taught to you. It's been installed into your awareness. And that's with everything. So I'm completely gone off tangent here, but the point is that we gotta read the signs. We have to learn how to read the signs, because the symbols are everywhere. The signs are everywhere. And if we don't know how to read the symbols, it's gonna be really hard. Again, take it from me. Before I learned how to any kind of English, I had a hard time with everything in the United States or watching American movies. I didn't know what they were saying. Listening to American music, I didn't know what they were saying. Right? So you can see, if I had a VCR and it was a Sony and all of the the buttons say things in English, I can only do so much. Oh, okay, so that's play. I guess it's just for it to come on. You know what I mean? If you learn the language, you won't have such a hard time. So, going back to the movie, then after looking at all of that and realizing that there's all these tribulations and all of these horrible things happening to this guy, again, it was like the caterpillar's life to turn into a butterfly, and then he has basically the life that he always imagined. But again, all of these things had to happen. What I'm saying is not going to be easy. But you have to understand the signs, because otherwise you're going to have a miserable time with this transition. It's not going to show up out of the sky. It's not going to drop in your lap. Hope it does, but what would you learn from that? Think about it. How spoiled would we be if we were just given everything? Anywho, if you don't know the signs, you will be cast away. You will feel like you've been casted away. And after everything that I've been through, I saw the name of it. And after everything that I had seen in the movie, I realized that title was speaking loudly to me. And the content was also speaking loudly to me. And I hope this is speaking loudly to you. Have a wonderful day. Now go out there and learn them signs.